Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful Nanaimo. Today's guests, virtual as they may be, once again, a Zoom conversation as we're not yet in studio, are my two dear friends, Isabella and Teresa Ostman. And they are Wellness News Choices for Healthy Living, and they also have a fantastic show right here on CHLY as well. Welcome to the program, Isabella and Teresa. How are you guys?
Great.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Kathy. Always love being on with you.
It's always a pleasure to have you on board. And I do remind everyone who's listening to this broadcast, as it is a Zoom call, there may be some distractions. You may hear things like dogs barking, chimes going. You might hear bees buzzing. You might hear all kinds of things. It's part of the charm of the program since it is a summer day and we are taping outside on the Zoom computer, of course. So, Teresa, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
You have been with Wellness News Choices for Healthy Living for quite some time. Both you and your sister have. Can you tell us really about the core of Wellness News? What is it?
Well, we've been working at it for over 3.5 years. The time has just flown. The reason we started, and it still holds true today, is because we want to provide health and wellness information to our local communities. That's really the core of it. And we've been able to do it and branch out in very many different ways, which has been so fantastic. And how open the communities have been to us spreading the health and wellness, the word. That's the course, just getting the information out to people.
And really, in order for people to make informed decisions, having a really good source of information is the way to go. Isabella, it's a newspaper bulletin, isn't it? Right? That's how it started, right?
Yeah. Oh, oh dear. Of course, now that I'm supposed to talk.
Mute yourself.
What's that?
She can't mute herself if she's talking.
Oh dear.
No worries.
Yes, it's a newsletter, and it is the perfect size to pick up and peruse the articles that are in there. Take about 2 or 3 minutes to read. They're 100-word articles. They give you just a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a teaser to go in and look for some more information. They have, up till now, been distributed through medical offices, through our healthcare practitioners' offices, senior centers, a lot of the coffee shops, and over the years we have developed quite a number of very loyal readers. They will come in to distribute them, and they'll actually go, "Oh, there it is! Oh, I get the new one." Today, of course, with the situation being the way it is. Canada Post has been looking after the distribution for us.
Yeah, the last few months.
Great.
Yeah.
So tell us then, either one of you, Teresa or Isabella, how has COVID affected your readership?
Well, that's a really good question, because in the past, up until March, of course, we distributed out in the community. Yeah. Now, the newsletter is going direct to homeowners in our communities. So it goes directly via Canada Post. So we don't have that conversation with distribution points where people distribution points will say to us, "Oh, everybody loves that newsletter. Oh, I'm so glad you bring it." We've lost that, right? But we've also gained, I think, different readers who might not have picked it up before, or might not have seen it, might not see it regularly, and some of our advertisers are getting calls from people who just said, "Oh, I just saw it in the Wellness News. It came in my mail today." That sort of thing. Of course, we kept in touch with our subscribers, and we have over 1,500 subscribers who get to know the fact that the new version is up on our website. Wellnessnews.ca has copies of the latest newsletters every month. So that's how they're reading it. So we're reaching readers, but in different ways.
I have to say we kept a few copies back last month, and we went out and distributed them to some senior homes, and I went into the Thirsty Spirit Roast House on Bowen Road, and I came in there and I had a few of them. This is a coffee shop, and the woman says, "Oh, there you are." She says, I have told people they couldn't take this last copy because I knew that you'd be coming back." And so she was so happy to be getting the next, that would have been the July issue, I guess.
And that issue was in there. It was March.
Yeah, everywhere we picked up March issues. It was like a time warp.
Well, it has been a time warp for so many people, right? And indeed, even though the distribution is a little bit different, as you said, the readership, it's a different readership perhaps than you're accustomed to. What a wonderful opportunity to be able to share the information. I personally love it. I think it's a great, colorful and inspiring piece. And as you said, the articles, they're short, they're crisp, and they allow people to kind of just get a little bit of a taste test of what's happening. You mentioned, though, Teresa, your website, and I know that you and Isabella have been working very, very hard on something brand new. Can you share with us what you're up to?
I am. You know what? In fact, I'm going to talk about the Wellness Hub. That's a wonderful thing on radio. I had something that I really wanted to tell you. Oh, I remember. When COVID hit in mid-March, Isabella and I really had to take a good look at our product. And were we going to continue producing and printing it through COVID? Because we knew we lost every single one of our distribution points. Nobody wanted paper. Most places were closed. And we thought that we can't stop printing and distributing a health and wellness publication. This is a health pandemic. That's not when you stop. It's
when you ramp it up. Absolutely. Yes.
And we realized, and a lot of the advertisers who were still open, were still providing services, tailored their health tips to COVID-19 and being safe and that sort of thing. And so we just felt that was just really important to keep going, and which is why we did. And now we're full steam ahead. So while we weren't out there, of course, as much at meetings and out at fairs and things because they weren't happening. We were really busy developing a whole new resource called the Wellness Hub. And Isabella has been doing a lot of the background work on that. So I'm going to let her introduce it to you.
Okay. Well, the Wellness Hub is a local directory of health and wellness resources here in central Vancouver Island. So if you are looking for a chiropractor, you are looking for a holistic nutritionist, you're wanting you're wanting support, just caregiver support, this is the place where you will find it. We of course through the wellness news, through our advertisers, through our expos, and through all the other things that we're involved with, NSSN, the Nanaimo Women's Business Network. We have a lot of contacts in the health and wellness industry. And so it is logical sense for us to connect them all.
Absolutely. And when I think about a hub, I think like of a central place where, people come in to get information, and to be able to do that online. How fantastic is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the timing of it was right now, because people aren't out and about in the same way. So to have a local online resource for people to go to. And so it is a business directory, but it also has health tips. It's got blogs, it's got current news. Businesses can come in and they can actually get a listing completely for free. There's no cost to businesses. If they would like to put more information about their business right on the website, they can. And there's a small fee for putting a little bit more, or you can get a premium listing, which is almost like your own website. It's got, you can put product information, you can put your health tips, you can put your specialties. It's all kinds of images and pictures. So it's really great for businesses to be able to get a lot of information out. And it's great for the people coming in to get information because it's all there in one place. And of course, links then onward to contact the business directly if they want to, or go to their official website. So it really is a wonderful resource. And as Isabella mentioned, we realize that you can't say, oh, we got this great resource, come and check it out, and have nobody on it, right?
Absolutely. So how are people finding it?
It's populated. It's been populated with hundreds of companies and health tips and news. So it really is just a hub, that central hub to get resources.
So it allows people to come and do a real exploration of everything
Yes.
that is health related. And so, I know that with COVID, so many of our older adults, and I know this isn't just, by the way, for older adults by any means, it's for anyone who is concerned about their health and well-being. But for many people, whether or not they are older adults or not, there is that a fear that's going on for people to go out and research different organizations. The hub will allow people to safely do that, right? And so so let's say, because this is a radio program, and so I want to give a visual to people. If I'm coming to your website, what could I expect to see right from the very beginning? How could I, what is it? Is it an easy website to use? Because honestly, a lot of them are not. Frankly, they're just not. I hate to say, I'm sorry, lovely. I'm sorry, but so many are so difficult to use. Tell me how it would be easy for people to access the information from the Wellness News Hub. And I'm sorry, you didn't call it the Wellness News Hub. You called it the Central
Island Wellness Hub.
Central Island Wellness Hub. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect time for us to segue into grabbing that piece of paper and that pen. You know, the one that I always tell you to go get while we're talking, because information is going to be coming. This is the perfect time for that. While we're talking, grab a piece of paper and a pen, because you're going to want to write the information down that Teresa and Isabella Ostman are sharing with us. And by the way, if you just tuned in, you are listening to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM. I'm Kathy Holmes. I'm your host. And in the Zoom box with me, Isabella and Teresa Ostman from Wellness News Choices for Healthy Living. Sorry about that, Teresa, but just segued me right into people getting paper. Had to do it.
Yeah, it was perfect. So yes,
what do we do when we come and find Central Island Wellness Hub?
.ca. What you find is something that's incredibly user friendly. And again, Isabella and I have been working for many weeks to really make this user friendly. And we'd say, okay, someone comes on here. Do they know what to do? Yes, because the very first page they see, of course, Wellness Hub, powered by Wellness News Choices for Healthy Living. They see your local health and wellness resource, Central Vancouver Island, and they see buttons that say find, learn, stay informed. So right away, okay, I'm looking for something. There's a magnifying glass that says find practitioner services and products. There's a button that says learn. You click that, and there's health tips, there's product reviews, and more. Stay informed to get local health news. And if you click on any one of these, then you're taken to more deeper information. So you click on find, and you will see all kinds of members that are on there. What you can do is you can search for a specific type of provider. Say you're looking for a dentist. So you can search for dentists, and then you get a list of the dentists who are on the Wellness Hub. Maybe you have pain and you don't know what to do. You could go into the name or keyword section and type in pain. And then every single member or the business on our resource that deals with pain will come up. And there's all kinds of different companies. Like sometimes a dentist might talk about pain because of dental pain, whereas someone that sells supplements might come up because there's supplements to help with pain. So it's really user friendly, and you can go in different ways. You can search for a specific practitioner or a symptom or a product. It's quite amazing.
That sounds fantastic. I'm curious right now whether or not, because this is a brand new hub, so it's only been going for a month, 2 months, really, since COVID. I know because
it's pretty well launched at the beginning of August, so it's very new.
Days old.
Yeah.
You heard it right here on Act 3. Brand spanking new cutting edge right here. So the question I was going to ask you about the kinds of inquiries you're getting right now, have you noticed a bit of a pattern? Obviously, maybe not yet, but
Not yet.
it's only a few days old. It's sooner than I thought it was, so maybe not yet. Are you expecting to see a certain pattern? And I noticed in the conversation we've been talking about businesses and practitioners.
Right.
Is this also for nonprofit agencies, or is it predominantly a business forum?
If you go and look at it, centralislandwellnesshub.ca, you'll actually see that there's lots of different categories. And we were just actually working on the categories. It's amazing. You think you've got something that's in really good shape, and it's in really good shape, but there's always room for improvement. So we're still doing a little bit of tweaking. And
Yes.
Isabella and I actually were tweaking categories this morning. And Isabella, why don't you tell them about some of these categories and what's happened with them?
Yeah, like, you know, we want to make sure that it is as easy as possible for people to find things, and at the same time we want to let businesses have an easy time to categorize themselves. Okay, so somebody that provides foot care, for instance, where should they be listed in our categories? Who is their customer? You know, where is it logical for somebody to be looking for that particular service? So Teresa and I have gone through this, and we are on our third iteration or fourth, and it took us 2 weeks to get to the first iteration, and we put it all in place, and you know, we're now ready to launch. And Isabella says, "Oh, Teresa, I'm having trouble with this." And Teresa says, "You know, I was thinking that too." So we redid a portion of it, and oh gosh, it looked so much better. And then last night I looked at it and went, no, we still didn't get it. And so now we're regurgitating again, and I think we've got it now. But the only problem is that we have now entered 300 businesses that all have to be reclassified.
You know what? We want it, Kathy, we really want it to be easy for users to get information. We want it to be easy for businesses to be listed. And your question was about associations. And one of the categories actually is local community, which has associations, charities, meetup groups, networking groups, nonprofit organizations, and support groups, and an other. And there aren't many others, but we always want an other just in case. But so definitely there's room for any business, any organization, association that has anything to do with health and wellness to be listed here. And we want them all. We want them all because we want as comprehensive as possible.
And health and wellness, you know, we tend to think of health and wellness, okay, supplements, fitness, skincare, but I feel really good when my house is being cleaned and my house is well maintained, or when I'm not going to worry about my car breaking down. So there is room for a lot of health and wellness.
You know, we've talked about this before on previous programs. You know, it's really about our mental health, our physical health, our socio health, our supportive health, our friendship health. It's all of those things combined together to make wellness, right? And when one of them is a little bit out of balance, like when your car is about to break down,
Yeah.
the whole thing can be just a little bit. And understanding that health and wellness, that might not necessarily be the natural segue to getting your car repaired, but that having that potential to be able to see supports that are in the area that will help you feel better about your circumstances.
On my Wellness Wednesday show last week, I interviewed a cancer survivor on Wellness Wednesday, and it kind of came down to what really is the cause. What is the cause of cancers and a lot of health issues? And it's stress. Yes. So I just think of anything that can cause you stress. Boy, my car breaking down causes me stress. My house being really dirty and someone's coming over, it really causes me stress. And it gets really bad, it causes me stress just because I have to look at it. So really, and anything in your life that's not in harmony or not tickety-boo can cause stress. So it's all health.
So I think that you need just an extra iteration for this, the stress tab, right? The stress tab, so that you, I mean, and iterations are natural when you're a work in progress, especially when you're trying to develop something that is really so very, very large, right? It really is. There's so many potential categories that you could have in order to create a wellness directory that makes sense for
It makes,
just
yeah,
everyone.
that's the thing that we had to keep going back to.
Yeah.
Because we know if someone comes here looking for something and they can't even navigate it, let alone find it, they're never going to come back.
No.
And we want them to come back over and over again because it's such a comprehensive resource here on Central Vancouver Island. We're just so excited to have added it to all our other offerings on health and wellness.
I want to just point something out when you said about the stress. At one point in time, our categories actually had mental health, stress, pain, diabetes on it. And we thought, well, it needed to be there so we could find it. But as we started going further and further into the guts of the tool that we were using, we realized how sophisticated this directory is. So if a business, they have an about section where they can write about, when they're open, what they do, what kind of services they provide. Well, if they happen to have stress release or stress management, if they have the word stress or diabetes somewhere within their web page, and you type in you want help with stress, well, the directory will find it. So we didn't need a tab for stress, but if you type in stress and businesses, companies have identified that they can help you deal with it, the directory will find them.
I would expect, Isabella, that there are so many ailments, so many things that people are concerned about. There's so many conditions. Certainly our focus these days has been COVID. I would imagine, I'm assuming a lot. Do you have a small section on COVID at this time? Is that something that's a work in progress, or is everybody else doing it so it's not really on?
Well, as far as COVID, of course, some of the businesses have in their about section, they've talked about their hours during COVID or any special services that they're offering.
Yeah.
Our news blog definitely talks about COVID because news things that are happening, they're going to be in there. And so that talks about COVID. We don't have a COVID section on its own. We really feel that there's so much information on COVID that we're looking more at the things that COVID has created, and that's more stress and some health issues and that sort of thing.
Well, and I'm glad that you point that out because it's true. There's a fair amount of data that's out there. It's a fair amount of information. Of course, if you're listening to this program, we do encourage, we are not doctors. This is, not our expertise. Our expertise is sharing information with community. And so we do want to preface that the information that's out there that you are receiving regarding any ailment or any condition, but in particular right now with COVID, is to please follow the advice of Dr. Bonnie Henry and our provincial government. We are still very much taking that direction. If you have just arrived to Vancouver Island and you're on vacation here, we are thrilled that you came. Thank you for tuning in to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7, and please wear your mask.
And wash your hands often.
Wash your hands, wear your mask, enjoy the fruits and the joys that Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands can bring to you, but please keep us all safe in the process. So, I think it's really a good time in the program to start delivering how people can reach out to you and Isabella, Teresa. Isabella, I'm going to ask you first if you'd be so kind, because you've been working tirelessly on this hub. I've asked people already to get a piece of paper and a pen. How do people find the hub?
Well, we will be starting a promotion campaign to promote this, certainly through all the networks that we are involved in. Teresa mentioned our subscriber list. We have over 1,000 names on our subscription list. They will be getting an email. It is also at the top of the newsletter. So if you happen to get one of our newsletters in the mail in your house, the address is there. Now, if these were normal times and all the events were happening downtown at Maffeo Sutton, you would see Teresa and me in our tent promoting the Central Wellness Hub. We have to do it digitally the way everybody else does, reaching out to people like you, Kathy, and being kind enough to allow us to come here on the show and to talk about it. So we are going to take advantage of the community that we live in, and the community that we have become part of and very much integral to for the last 3.5 years. And that was another thing that Teresa and I kind of talked about, and we realized that, hey, we are absolutely the right people to be doing this.
Absolutely.
We have the connections, we have the inroads, we've been involved, we've been volunteering. I like to think that we're well thought of. We have the reputation for being fair and reasonable, and we have a lot of integrity. We're gonna do this right.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. And I can vouch for your integrity, absolutely and completely. You two are brilliant. You do so much for our community. You have been so generous, and not only in your time, but in your donations for different things, and you're supporting different events, and your participation in different networking organizations, your education opportunities. There's been an amazing amount of work that the two of you have done in our community, and certainly we have to thank you deeply, because really it's a privilege to be able to share your information for all the good work that you do. Teresa, what is that website?
Oh, I know Isabella wouldn't tell you. I know you were trying to get it out of her.
She's got people are just sitting there with their pen. They're like to mark it down. It's like, but I'm loving it. What's the website, Teresa?
Central Island Wellness Hub.ca.
You're going to have to say that one more time, because I missed the first part.
Central Island Wellness Hub.ca.
Isabella also talked a lot about subscriptions. You have about 1,000 people that have subscribed.
1,500, yeah.
Can you tell me more about what subscription looks like for anybody who's interested in participating? How does one subscribe?
So you can actually subscribe to receiving an email letting you know that the new newsletter is out and the new information is out on our wellnessnews.ca website. You can, if you go onto Facebook, you can actually click to subscribe to the Wellness News, and on Central Island Wellness Hub.ca, you can also click to subscribe, and then you will be put on that mailing list. And occasionally we'll run contests, so people will subscribe in order to be able to win prizes. And that will that'll happen during the year at different times. And of course, we also get the subscribers from our events. When we had our Health Expo and our Women's Expo, a lot of people subscribed then to be able to just stay on top of knowing when events were going to happen and when the new newsletter was out and that sort of thing. So
I have to ask you, because when people subscribe to so many of these things, they can be really obtruse. Like,
yes, they can be.
Like,
we're not.
So
we're not.
I just
I know once.
How often would someone receive? Like once a month, once every couple of weeks?
Yeah, once a month, unless it's something really special. I'm trying to think, in 3.5 years, I think maybe we've sent out another notice a couple of times other than once a month. And that might be because there's something really extra special happening. Like if it was a Women's Expo and we had so much exciting things to share, that we would send one out specifically about that. Mm-hmm. Or we're both involved with the Nanaimo Senior Services Network, which of course you are too, Kathy. Mm-hmm. And when their health and wellness show came up in October or November, we would often send out an extra just an extra bit of an announcement, just because there's such great shows directed at seniors, and we really wanted to make sure that they saw that information. So yeah, so the most you'll hear from us is probably 15 times a year at the very, very most.
That's great. I mean, you want enough information, but not an over amount. You brought something up, though, that I think is kind of an important conversation, because so many major events are closing. Certainly this you were becoming very, very well known for your Women's Expo. Certainly the Health and Wellness Fair for Nanaimo Senior Services Network was very well attended as well. Actually, I think you put 3 on per year, right? There is the
Wellness News. We did the Health Expo in September and the Women's Expo in February. And then I also, as a volunteer, ran the Nanaimo Senior Services Seniors Health Fair in October or November.
Yeah.
And as I'm also on the steering committee for the Oceanside Health and Wellness Fair, that's up in Parksville, and that's usually in March. And we were shut down 9 days before that was going to happen this past March because of COVID.
So how do you think that that's affected our community of not being able to go? Or do you think, don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't have an answer, you don't have an answer. But with things the way that they are, there's been some talk that other organizations throughout the province of British Columbia, volunteer organizations, Alzheimer's groups, a variety of different ones, that's a couple to name the top, are doing similar virtual kind of wellness fairs. What are your thoughts about that? Have you put anything towards that? Isabella, do you have anything to say to that?
Well, we have certainly talked about it and thought about it. But you've been to our expos. They are a chance to connect with other people. They're a chance to connect with other vendors, with other people in your same industry. It brought the communities together. People were looking at things, checking them out. It was tactile. You could try it. You could see it. I don't think that a Zoom virtual expo is going to ever take the place of that. Certainly for me, it's not something that I would be interested in going to as a participant. We think that. Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
No, I think there's room for something like that. I do. I think it has to be really well thought out. The trick is always to get the participants, and even to our any fair or expo that we've put on. That's always the hardest part, and getting people who might not be that familiar with the online virtual events, it could be a real challenge to get them on.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I really do. I just don't, I think that there's room, like I agree with both of you. I think that there's room for it. I'm wondering what your take is on the whole Zoom concept. And again, we're very grateful you tuned into Act 3 via Zoom. This is a pre-recorded show that you would normally listen to live at 1 o'clock every Monday afternoon. And we're taping a couple of days in advance of that. But I find that people are less and less wanting to be part of Zoom, because we're all, for lack of better words, a bit zoomed out. So I am a bit curious on how any kind of a virtual event would go.
Oh, I have to put it just a little bit. There has been a huge uptick in the demand for plastic surgery. And the reason they say it has been as a result of Zoom, because we are not used to looking at ourselves. Like, here I am, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at you, but I'm also looking at, oh my God, my hair, look at this. What no, really has.
And for the benefit of radio, none of you guys are going to.
I know, that's why I asked. I said, you should do some video, right?
So, that's exactly true. I find I've had a lot of conversations with people, and they're like telling me, oh my God, is there like something in my teeth? Is my shirt on straight? I myself, I'm a little bit of a vain person, and I don't mean to be. It's just many people know that I've been fighting a terrible condition for a long time. And so my face, for me, although it's certainly getting better, it just feels so big and so round and so football-y that I have a hard time looking at myself because I'm not looking at me, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's with a pre-existing condition. If I don't have a pre-existing condition, then I'm just being critical for the hell of it. That's just mean, right, to ourselves. I think that, and I want to, because you brought that pieces of that up, in an earlier part of the conversation with stress, right? That button that goes, people are finding, I think, a lot of stress. And as you said, seeing the way that they look on these kinds of screens and these kinds of forums. I was talking to a lady the other day and she said to me, she goes, I couldn't take my eyes off myself. She said, is it weird? And I said, I don't think so. I said, I think that we tend to just check and make sure. I mean, some people are looking for facial expressions that we wouldn't normally see when we're having conversations with people, right? We see it in other people, but we might not see that while we're maybe not talking, maybe we're frowning a little bit, or maybe we're sagging a little bit here, or, blinking, or, doing things that we wouldn't normally catch ourselves doing. So that preoccupation with looking at ourselves over Zoom, I don't think it's an unusual thing. From a wellness perspective, I think it's healthy for us to be gently critical, not to beat ourselves up with a beat up stick, and perhaps increase the dollars that wonderful plastic surgeons get.
Well, I, for one, I quite like Zoom. And I was just saying to Isabella the other day, there are a couple of meetings that I miss not going to once a month, because it's nice to have in-person connections. But for the most part, I really like Zoom because I don't have to get all dolled up and get all new clothes or whatever, and get in my car and drive somewhere, make sure I'm there on time, that sort of thing. And when I'm finished, I'm at home, right? One huge benefit, at the beginning of COVID, I connected with friends who I always saw once a year or so. But since COVID, once a week, we have Zoom calls. And I'm in Nanaimo, I have a friend in Winnipeg, and the other friend's in Toronto. And so once a week, we talk on Zoom. And it's just nice to be connected. But at the beginning, because we were really locked down, and more so in Toronto than here even, and we kind of gave ourselves tasks. Okay, before our next week's call, we have to do this. And one of my very first ones was clean up my office. So that was done. It was done at the beginning of April, and Zoom has forced me to keep it that way. So now, several months later, my office is still nice and clean. So, right? Because people can see it. Like, obviously on the radio you can't, but when we have business meetings or network meetings, people can see, and you don't want it to look really bad.
I love the idea that it's task oriented, that you can tell your friends that this is our task, as if we were, able to actually see each other in a different way. And like you, I see friends that I haven't seen in years, and more frequently, I have a standing Sunday afternoon with my friends in New York and Washington, in Seattle, and in Vancouver. And so we do this COVID catch up over cocktails to sort of talk about what's happening in the United States and what's happening in Canada as it relates to COVID right now. And it's fascinating, actually, to hear the perspectives of these friends of mine who are really in the heart of some of the most difficult parts of the globe when it comes to COVID.
It's Zoom. You think about it, if this pandemic had happened 10 years ago, we would not have had this.
I know.
This technology is pretty new. Like, there was teleconferencing, but big companies did it. It wouldn't have been available to individuals to just talk to their friends, right? No. So we're lucky in that we have this technology. We can stay connected. Like, for me, it really does feel like I'm in the booth with you, Kathy, while we're doing the Zoom. It does, and
it feels like you're in the booth with me too. And I'm glad that you are here and you're able to share the good news of what you're doing within community, and that actually this has caused a new effect, which is to create a hub for Central Vancouver Island that's going to be able to share so much more information with people that are out seeking, might not have otherwise had an opportunity to do that. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo, BC. Our broadcast goes all the the way up to Campbell River and 3/4 of the way into Duncan and way over to the other side of the Sunshine Coast. So if you're in our catchment area, you can find information on the Wellness Hub as well. So please make sure you check. Wellness News, Choices for Healthy Living, is actually all over Vancouver Island. And so not only can you find it from the Hub, but you'll find articles that are pertinent to your area. If you have your pen and paper handy still and you haven't already written down how you can reach Teresa and Isabella, Teresa, I'm going to ask you to give that website out one more time.
The website is Central Island Wellness Hub.ca.
And if someone wants to advertise with you, you know, I want to, before I go too far in the advertising, but I do want to let everybody know that, you know, if there are, that some of these listings are free for businesses, but you do have some premium things. I'm not going to talk about the costs here on the show, but I would like you to please call Isabella or Teresa at the telephone number
250-585-5795. That's the Wellness News number.
Perfect. And I'll get you to repeat that before the show is out again, to make sure that, you know, people can connect with you. And if you haven't got a listing, we certainly encourage that you do. Before we took a sort of station identification break, so to speak, we're talking about Zoom and overall health and the things that you could find on the Wellness News. But part of the conversation has led me into the conversation regarding mental health. Once again, recognizing that none of us are doctors here. But from your experience with so many people that subscribe to your newsletter, with many businesses that are coming forward, I'm more interested in this moment on your personal takes on wellness, because you're involved in wellness all the time, but mental health during these more stressful times really illustrates itself or shows up, presents itself in so many different ways. How have you seen it in community as you've been working with people in developing this website and your publication every month?
Well, I have noticed that I have disturbing dreams.
You do. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, you know, they're not, I don't tend to have nightmares as a general rule, and I can't really say that they're nightmares, but they have been disturbing dreams. And the other night it was really disturbing because I was programming the website in my dreams. And you know, I've been checking actually, and they're saying that sleep and dreams is one of the manifestation of stress, and they actually call it COVID dreams and COVID sleep. And so that's something that I have found personally. I myself am very grateful that I don't have too many of the worries that so many of our community has, you know, with livelihoods, with children. I said to my daughter, I said, God, I'm so glad I'm not a parent. And she says, what do you mean, Mom? You're a parent. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. But in the parent of 7, 8, 9-year-olds needing to go back to work and worrying about what do I do with my children come September.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge.
And the thing is that you send them to school, that's a worry. But if you don't, then what do you do? Is how are you going to go to work if your kids are at home, right?
So and my kid is coughing. Do I send them to? Okay, is it just a little cough? You know, or do I keep them at home? Do I send them?
It must be very difficult for parents to make decisions right now. But you're quite right. Those are the kind of stresses that people are experiencing right now. Isabella, when you were talking about your dreams, I know so many people that are listening right now can relate. In fact, that there's a phenomenon now with COVID dreams for people that are finding that the stress is almost too much to bear. And so their way of processing is not self-medicating, although some people do, but it has been actually to going into their dreams and trying to actually unpack what some of those dreams are saying. And I think that that's common for any stressful situation. But when we're going through periods of, you know, longer periods of time where our, for lack of better words, our wings are clipped, it can't be easy for people to sort of make the right decisions on how do I do this or not do that? How do I say yes to my children or say no? to other things, to groups, to going for picnics or barbecues or the beach. And there's also, unfortunately, been an uptick again in some countries of the world. I have some friends in China that I speak to regularly, and I've heard that in Hong Kong in particular, they are spiking again at 100 people a day. One of the gentlemen I was speaking to recently is a pharmacist, or not a pharmacist, I'm sorry, a paramedic. And he said that it had gone down to 7, 8, or 9 people a day, and it's gone right back up now to over 100 a day. And so we know that there's going to, and again, not to frighten anybody, but to be aware that there are things that we can do. And one of the things that you can do is get educated. So while the hub is going to give you some areas that will help you outside of COVID, things like mental health, and as you said, you've got blogs and things to maybe help sort of people to channel the energy when it's coming through dreams, to channel that energy and see whether there's resources in community that might be able to help walk you through it. There's no harm in talking to somebody about anything that you're going through over this very stressful time.
And there's lots of support. There are definitely support services. Go to CHLY and look at support. And there are definitely support services there that can be accessed. I was going to mention that what's really with my mental health, and a lot of people I know, was being able to go out in nature. And for me, nature is always a cure. I don't know what I want to call it a cure, but always a de-stressor. Yeah. And we were so fortunate that we could continue going out, because there were parts of Canada where you couldn't put your nose outside your door, let alone go out for walks. And we have so much nature here, so we were very fortunate. And I was out in nature every single day. And when I'm out there, I could forget. And I know a lot of people that did that, a lot of solo hiking, and just kept sane that way. And one of the things I personally did was, when they started talking about the COVID-15 or COVID-30, meaning putting on 15 or 30 pounds while in isolation and under restriction, I said, that is just not happening. And so I put a lot of energy into making sure that wasn't going to happen. I've actually taken weight off during the last few months, and I actually know quite a few people who've done the same.
So that just concludes our radio broadcast with Teresa. We're going to continue on with Isabella.
Did you have the COVID-15, Kathy? Did you?
In all fairness, I think part of mine is the COVID-14, part of it is the prednisone, right? It's a combination of, I've been accusing the prednisone at this point for such a long period of time, because it's been months, right? It's been a long, long time. And so I've certainly gained it from there. But I won't deny that a lot of people that I know certainly have put on a few pounds here or there. But you're quite right, Teresa, as well. Many people have not. In fact, they've gone the other way, and they've learned how to do exercises at home. They found a variety of different ways.
And again, Zoom
has
allowed businesses to offer yoga or different, I've done it on Zoom. And also, there's TV programs you can stream, and you can get a lot of, and a lot of them don't cost anything.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, actually, what's available here. I have a girlfriend in Vancouver, one of the same crew that I talk to at the weekend, every weekend. She's 70, she'll kill me for telling the world, but she's 72 this year. And I kid you not, the woman, she's an exercise guru. You'd think she was 45. She looks stunning. And a lot of it she's been just doing on Zoom, and to keep herself going and to feel a sense of normalization. And I think that that's what's really, really important here, is that whatever it is that we can do to feel normal during an abnormal kind of part of our history. Yeah. And congratulations for keeping down and losing weight. I'm really happy for you. You're a very slight woman anyway. You're not a heavy set woman at best, but you look fantastic and great. For those of you who cannot see the Zoom chat, just saying, as we talked about earlier, she does have, black teeth and,
Yeah, I do.
I'm just kidding.
One's missing, you know, all that.
Not
Well,
really.
we weren't picking blueberries today and eating them, so.
That's the ticket. I'm just joking with y'all. I think I do think that the mental health part of it is so important, and I think that being able to come to a resource such as yours is going to be so beneficial. I just wonder whether or not you could give us some idea of some of the businesses that are attached. You've given us topics, but are there some well-known businesses in our community that are part of the hub that you would like to share some of their names, or?
Absolutely. Bastion Physiotherapy. You know, they've been one of our advertisers, and they're part of the hub, and they have some reviews. I have recommended them to a number of people who have been very, very happy with the services that Darcy at Bastion Physiotherapy provides. And Lakeside Dental have been with us for a very long time. In fact, they were one of our first advertisers when we first started 3.5 years ago. So you will find them in there, and of course NSSN, our senior Nanaimo Senior Services Network is there. Darcy from Comfort Keepers,
home health, and that's
yes,
yep,
voting.
Yeah.
Now,
well,
not wanting to go out and needing people to come in and help them in their homes.
Yeah, home health is so important right now. No question about that.
Yeah.
And Berwick on the Lake, and Berwick Qualicum. Our dad is at Berwick on the Lake, and we can't say enough about the good care that he gets at Berwick, and we sleep well at night knowing that he's looked after, and we're so thankful that we can now go in and visit with him in his room, because it was a tough few months behind the window, and I'm sure it was for everybody.
Another one that's a really good one for support is BC Responsible and Problem Gambling. It's a government support, and it is absolutely free. And the casinos are closed, and kind of the worry that they have is that it's driving people to gamble online. And when you gamble online, there are no parameters. You can just keep gambling. No one's stopping you. So it's actually scarier in a way than going into casino, because there are people that kind of watch out and see if there's going to be issues, right?
Absolutely.
So there is the support. It's absolutely free to contact if you yourself are having gambling issues, or a loved one or family member. It's free. It's free to for support. So.
That's a really great tip, Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing that. I never even thought of that, but you're absolutely right. I would imagine that's, people try to do what they can for entertainment, right? And so a lot of people gamble for entertainment. I'm a lousy gambler. I know that service for me is probably not my, one that I will need. I go to Vegas and I spend like 25 cents for the entire trip. It's like, I'm a cheap gambler. Having said that, I'm going to segue back to Isabella for those dreams, because I dreamed there in early March that I was going to be a millionaire. And so I went crazy. Oh, it was brilliant. So I went crazy. For about a week there, I bought lottery tickets, and I never buy them. So I bought lottery tickets, very rarely, once in a blue moon. And the first one that I bought, I got $2. And the second time I got $10, which is the most I have ever made on a lottery ticket ever. I was very excited to have gotten that. So I could see myself kind of traveling down that path. The dream did not come true. I am not a millionaire.
Not yet, anyway. There was probably no time limit on it.
I'm hoping. I suppose if you don't buy a ticket, then you probably can't.
Well, that's true. You don't buy tickets, you can't win. No.
Listen, you guys.
Other businesses that you're going to find on the hub, definitely hearing clinics, Amplifone. People are still having issues, right? Even during COVID, and it would be really terrible with Zoom calls if you can't hear. So the hearing clinics are really important. Amplifone is one. Of course, the pharmacies. The
medicine shop.
Crazy. The medicine shop. Lots has been put on their plate, because people are calling for advice and that sort of thing, and any shop that people are coming in and out of, they have to clean constantly.
Absolutely.
They're constantly cleaning, and it's just amazing the work that they have to do to make sure that everyone is safe.
And they're unsung heroes, in my opinion. When we think of frontline workers, you know, the pharmacies, there's an expectation that because they're a pharmacist or own a pharmacy, that they're able to do so many things in the healthcare system. And they really, really have stepped up to plate with very little in the way of thanks in my mind. And I think that we should be banging our pots and pans for the pharmacists out there as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, guys, we're coming close to the end of the program, and it's always, I know it goes so fast.
Yes, it goes very fast.
So fast, and it's so incredible that we're able to spend this time together. I'm so glad that both Isabella and Teresa Ostman have been with us on Act 3 from Wellness News Choices for Healthy Living. As we, you know, kind of come out of the show, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to share your, you know, to share your words of wisdom, your kind of thoughts of, you know, the takeaway moment that you can offer our community as it relates to our health, our mental health, our physical health, and wellness news. Which one of you would like to?
I want to go first just in case Teresa steals mine.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, sister.
Love it. That's right. You go, girl.
Stay connected.
Yeah.
Stay connected with your family, with your friends far away. Stay connected however you can with the people that you see every day, that you see monthly, the people that make your life. And we're so, you know, we're so thankful that we can be part of that connection. We can help connect the businesses, the healthcare providers, practitioners, businesses here in Nanaimo. And even though we can't do it through our Health Expo this year, we can do it through the Central Island Wellness Hub.
I'm going to just breathe in what you said, because I think it's arguably one of the most important conversations this show could ever have. We need to stay connected. Yeah. We really, really do. Whether we do it by telephone, whether we do it by Zoom. When we lose the connection, we lose our humanity. And that's what being human is all about, is staying together. Thank you for your insight, Isabella. Teresa, it's you're up. What do you think? You didn't have to steal hers. She got it in before you could steal hers.
No, but it wasn't mine even. It wasn't. I wasn't going to steal it. I'm saying think local. Really think local. And like our wellness hub is local businesses. You go on there, you're going to find information on local providers, health products, what have you. It's all wellness and it's local. But local really helps, like buy from farmers markets, buy local, buy from the little mom pa shop on the corner if you can, because the local businesses are hurting. Amazon is not hurting. Not hurting at all. Don't support Amazon if you can avoid it. I mean, there's some things that you might not be able to buy locally, but stay local and try to support each other. And I'm going to do a second one. This is another words of wisdom that I've learned now is don't pay too much attention to the news. Don't stay glued to CNN or News World or what have you. Don't read absolute everything. Like I like to listen to the Bonnie Hinder report, a couple of times a week. I like to hear it right from her rather than the media's the way they interpret what's been said. But other than that, you can really get yourself in a tizzy and really upset if you read and follow it all the time. And give yourself a break.
You're absolutely right. You've got to time it out. I love what you said a little bit earlier about shopping locally. And I'm reminded by a sign that said that when you shop locally, you're helping this owner put their kids through soccer practice.
Exactly.
And that is really, to me, a pivotal piece. And you're quite right. Too much news is too much news. But never too much news is on Act 3 on CHL 101.7. And you can also catch Wellness Wednesdays with Teresa and Isabella as well, once a month. Is it once a month or twice a month?
First and third Wednesday.
First and third Wednesday of the month. You tune in at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays for their program. And thank you for tuning in to Act 3 here on CHLY. One last thing, we have seconds left, Teresa. Get that phone number out one last time, please.
250-585-5795. That's to reach me. Or go online, centralislandwellnesshub.ca, and there's actually information right on there on how to become part of the hub.
Fantastic. Isabella and Teresa, thank you so much for being part of today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad that you tuned in today. Thank you for participating in our program. I look forward to middle of September bringing to you via Shaw Spotlight, our brand new television program. And who's part of the hosting of that? These two fabulous guests.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Yay, wellness. Woohoo, we're there.
Wellness. So listen, you want to tune into Shaw as well. In the meantime, tune in again to Act 3 every Monday at 1 o'clock. Thanks for your day, and we'll see you real soon. Bye for now.